Hey everybody. Happy Friday. Y'all in here too. I can
Happy
see
Friday.
lots of people see. We got Shanna in here. Thank you, Shanna. She in here modding as she does. Hey Flossin. He said,
Hey,
okay, Queen Gina.
everybody.
He said I stayed out the woods tonight because I wasn't about to miss this one. He been hunting for about a week or so now.
Oof.
He gets his little deer supply. Hey Willie. Hey Mr. BS. Look at you on time. Who else is in here? Hey, Joshua Gabriel, how you doing, fam? It's been a while. Hey, Simply Bell, how you doing, sis? Hey, Courtney, how you doing, sis? How's everybody doing? Hey, Rachel, how you doing? How's y'all week been? We gonna get into some insurance conversations soon. I actually had questions written down that I didn't bring in here with me, but I think I remember them.
Okay.
Um, But if y'all have questions along the way during the conversation, just drop them in the chat. I'll try to catch them and ask, because I know it's probably with Siege talking to you guys, it's probably going to be hard for her to follow the chat. And for those who don't know who's up here on the panel with me, this is Siege Talks. She is a very heavy presence in the 2A community, and insurance is what she do. So she gonna talk about insurance with us and kind of help us out with any questions that we have and things like that. And I have some. Hey TK, how you doing, sis?
TK, hey, sis. What's up?
TK passed her finals.
Yay. Congratulations.
Yes.
Awesome.
On to the next course. On to the next.
All
Hey
right.
Key, how you doing? Yes. Hey Allnet, how you doing, sis? But yeah, so congratulations, TK. She probably like, why you telling me?
TK,
Like,
way
because
to
I
do
am.
it. I love that.
Yeah, she doing her thing. She set a goal out. I'm sure it'd be a lot, anytime you're trying to get something accomplished, it be feeling like a lot. Trust me, I
Studying
know.
and school and still your life
Hmm.
is still life in on the side and
Life is
taking
still life.
exams and that's awesome. That's great work.
That's the biggest thing. Life don't stop lifing for nothing.
Never.
Hey,
Never,
Jova, how
never,
you
never,
doing?
ever.
Mm-mm.
Jova,
Mm-hmm. Talking about he had
where
a
you
gas
been?
station.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he a mess. Hey, TT. So y'all, I am going to let now. Siege has been on here before. Hey, lovely lady Leo. Siege has been on here before. What did we talk about last time? Oh, we talked about different
Self-defense.
methods of self defense. Yes, that was
Yeah.
a great one. The chat was going on that one. That was a great conversation, and I was getting a lot of positive feedback even after the live. Some of y'all reached out to me about the live, and I gave Siege the feedback. Y'all love that live, and it was a really good live.
Good. I'm
Absolutely
glad.
so. Yes. Hey, Mike. Willie, did I speak to you? How you doing, fam? So, last Friday I was live. Not this past Friday, but the last Friday I was live. Um, Someone in the chat brought up a question or questions about insuring someone who is in the 2A space. So the insurances that you would look for with that. That's where it started from. But Siege, I have some questions around across insurance platforms. How about that? Different types of
Okay.
insurance.
Yeah, that
Um,
works.
but I'm gonna let you introduce yourself for those who might not have been here for the first live. Y'all go watch it though, because it was good. And then we'll get into the conversation.
It was fun. So I'm Siege, and I love to focus on women's self-defense, and insurance is my profession. I'm an insurance geek. So I talk a lot about concealed carry insurance, to different coverages. And I like to give information that's going to help you pick a great policy for you. So that's my goal. My goal is to day is to give you enough information to help you pick something that's going to suit you best. So let me disclaimer, I'm not an attorney. I'm not an insurance producer. I'm not selling anything. I don't represent any of these companies. None of the companies pay me, and I will probably not say the name of any one company. I don't promote any company. I don't push one over the other. I'm just going to hopefully give you the tools so you can make good decisions for you.
Mm-hmm. I love that, because that's what my questions were, that general, like to give me the information that I need to make the best insurance decision for myself. So that's awesome.
So I can do concealed carry insurance, and I have like a kind of a checklist I go through, and we're going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. I know a lot about auto insurance. So if you have any questions about your car insurance, I know a lot about car insurance. I can probably help you or direct you to a good source for information. As I said, whatever I say, it is from my perspective, it's my opinion, but my goal is to be helpful.
Mm-hmm. All right. So are we going to start off with concealed carry?
Why don't we start with your questions? You have questions.
I do, but they weren't about concealed carry per se, but I do want information on that. Look, I done got my pen and paper ready.
It could be anything.
But my question was, because I feel like I have lived this experience. So when it comes to like car insurance, for instance, where your rates sometimes are higher in your lower to medium income neighborhoods at times, actually most times I have noticed that, because now where I live, I have very, very decent insurance premiums, but I've lived in low income, middle income neighborhoods where my insurance was very high according to insurance companies, because maybe there was more thefts or something in that area. How would someone avoid dealing with that, or scope out the different companies that don't really penalize you so much for where you live at when it comes to getting insurance?
Okay, great question. All insurance carriers penalize you based on where you live.
Okay.
That's one of the biggest factors. So for car insurance and homeowners, but especially car insurance, part of it is the year, the make, the model of the vehicle. That has a lot to do with it. Your driving record, how many people are driving the car, how many listed operators are in your household. And this includes your young adult children. It should include anybody age 15 or older, because that could be somebody with a permit. Mm-hmm. But one of the other factors is going to always be your zip code. And I know it feels super unfair, but that is the way every insurance company that writes auto policies across the country, and I've handled claims now, I guess, maybe upwards of 20 different states. So it's not, and I live in Pennsylvania. So it's not just Pennsylvania that I've handled. I handle all over the country, coverage for all different states, but it is your zip code. So you can't get around it. The way to kind of counterbalance that high rate is to, one, have a good driving record, meaning no moving violations, no accidents. And if you can, you want to put your 2 vehicles and your renter's insurance, or your 2 vehicles and your homeowner's insurance. You want to put those things together, because that will give you a small discount. It's not great. If you get direct withdrawal for payment, a lot of companies will give you a small discount for that. And the longer you have your insurance, the lower your rate will be. So longevity has a lot to do with it. That's why when you're young and you move out from your parents and you get your own car, you get your first car in your little apartment, and your rates are like double what you thought they would be. That's why, because you're a young driver, inexperienced, and zip codes really have more to do, not so much with crime. It has to do with population and density of population. So, of course, the more people in the area, the more cars, the more traffic, the more likely that there are going to be more accidents. So it's a numbers game. The further out, like if you live in farm town, where there are, 500 residents, but 600 farms, the likelihood of those hit while parked, theft of autos, it's just going to drop because there are just fewer people altogether.
I can see that. I don't feel like I've moved to an area where there's less people, but I do know that it's a better area. But I always felt like that was unfair because of the fact that the people who live in your lower to middle income neighborhoods are the ones who can least afford the additional cost, the elevated cost in insurance because of that.
It's so it almost like it feels
against you.
Yeah, it does feel like it. And it looks like that on paper. You live in a more densely populated area because the suburbs are rarely that. And you pay a higher rate. And sometimes it doesn't matter how clean your driving record is. It's still, I mean, I have a sister right now that lives in the city, and I think her rates are ridiculous. She doesn't even drive to work. I think she goes in 2 or 3 days a week, and she takes the subway because who wants to drive downtown in traffic if you don't have to in a city, like in an inner city, and she's in Philly. So she doesn't want to pay to park, but her rates are still higher than I think they should be. They're almost twice mine.
Yeah. And I also noticed that when I got my credit score up, it went down a lot.
A lot of companies do use credit score, and there are, this is when I think people should get involved locally with their legislation, because I don't think your credit score should be. Now, they say statistically your credit score is a good indicator of what kind of driver you're going to be. I don't think that should be the case. I really don't. I never understood that. I don't think it's true. You could just be you could just handle your finances, or something catastrophic could have happened to cause you to have finances that are unstable, and your credit score drops, and then you take a big hit. It's like getting a loan when your credit score is, I guess 550 versus 750. It's a huge difference.
It is a huge difference.
And I would say this, when you're searching for a company, the things that you want to watch out for are, if you have a great credit rating, it doesn't matter. If you don't, you want to see if the company uses credit scores as a part of their rating system. And maybe you want to steer away from that. There are a lot of companies that are direct. In other words, there are no agents. So you can't walk into an office and ask a ton of questions. You have to actually call the company. You don't like reading the minutia in these policies. That might not be the best pick for you, because when you buy a direct policy, in essence, you're saying, I am going to read and get the best understanding of what kind of coverage I have, so that when I do have an accident, I understand what I do and don't have. Things to stay away from. There's no such thing as full coverage. That's not real. Don't ever think you have full coverage, because there are always coverages that are state mandatory. There are state mandatory minimums that you have to have on your policy. And then everything else you can select or reject. It's up to you. It's optional coverages. So be careful when you hear, don't say I have full coverage, because I guarantee you don't. And over the last 30 years, I have explained to people that they don't have full coverage about 17.9 million times.
Yeah.
It's not like they think they do, but it's not a thing. Like, that doesn't exist.
Yep. That was actually one of my other questions when it came to coverage, choosing the right amount of coverage, or the things that are available to you that really aren't necessary to have as far as coverage? Are there
Things I
things in
think
those
you
policies that are options that you think that you need, but it really is not that beneficial to you?
Probably like if you have a car that's in really good condition or a newer vehicle, you probably don't need roadside assistance and towing. If you
Mhm.
own more than one vehicle and they're both in running condition, like if you own a sedan and an SUV and you use one, you use your truck in the winter for four-wheel drive because you live in a snowy area, you probably don't need rental coverage. Um, and those two things are not very expensive. If you have good medical coverage, you probably don't need medical coverage unless it's state mandatory. And then there is a minimum that is applied to every policy across the state. It just depends on where you live.
Mhm.
What else don't you need? If you are a safe driver and you know whether you are or not, if you are a safe driver, you probably don't need the highest level of liability coverage, meaning property damage, which is not your car, it's damage to other property where you're at fault. You probably don't need extremely high limits for bodily injury, which is when you are at fault and somebody else is hurt. And when I say somebody else is hurt, I mean when people say that they're hurt. Does that mean that they're always truly hurt? No, it does not. Claims
When
adjusters
they
are
hurt.
not, they're not omnipotent. They're
Mhm.
not seers. They can only go on records that are sent to them. So
Mhm.
understand that if you're in an accident and you're at fault, people often scream, I'm hurt, because they think that's a method to get money. And
Mhm.
your insurance company's job is to protect you.
Mhm. Yeah.
I just purchased a vehicle last night. It's an older vehicle. Should I get full coverage? So, Burner Girl, I would say this: if that's your only source of transportation and you need it to get to work and to live your life, I won't say full coverage because that doesn't really help you. That's not telling you anything. I would say, even if it is an older vehicle, if you can't afford to replace it, you should get collision coverage, which means if you get in an accident, whether you're at fault or not, doesn't matter. You select your deductible. Please select one you can really afford. Don't select a $2,000 deductible and then get in an accident and yell at the claim rep because you don't have your deductible. Deductible means that's the part you have to take out of your pocket, and then your company picks up the bill from that point forward to pay for damage. So I think if you're the only one in your household, that's your only vehicle, you need collision. You need comprehensive coverage, which is like hail damage. If you hit an animal, if something falls on your car, like a tree or debris or something like that. If your car is stolen, that's what comprehensive coverage is. If your car is flooded, if you drive through flood water, which don't do that. Um, so you need that. And I think you need rental if it's the only car in your household and you need that to get around. Now, if you have another little beater at home that you can use, or there's a relative, there's a significant other, there's someone else that you can get to a car and get what you need to move around, then you don't need collision or comprehensive coverage. But just understand, if your car is parked and you're asleep and it's not in a garage, it's on your driveway or the street, somebody drives by and hits your car in the middle of the night, you wake up the next morning to go to work, you go outside, you don't have a rear bumper. If you don't have collision coverage, your insurance policy will not pay to get your vehicle repaired. It doesn't matter that you're not at fault. It doesn't matter that you don't know who did it. It matters that you select the right coverage. So for you, I would say collision, comprehensive, and rental you would need even if the car is older, if you are the only person in the household with the vehicle and you need it to live your life.
Yeah. And I also learned this a couple years ago because the girl that does my locks, this happened to her. She had bought a new car, had the car maybe a couple months, and the police was going after someone, and her car was parked, but they hit her car. And I don't know if people know this, but the police have some. They don't pay for that, the damages that they incur to your property for any reason. Like, you could
Yeah.
petition, I think, for your deductible,
Correct.
but that's about it. And
So
when
they
I found
have
that out, I
immunity.
said, "You got to be kidding me! They could just be out here damaging property, and I gotta pay for it."
Yeah. They have government immunity. So do all the other agencies. So it could be your township, it could be police, it could be fire, it could be rescue, EMTs, any of the other government agencies. It could be a parole officer in a government car.
Yeah.
They have immunity, so you would only get your deductible.
Yes.
Just if you have a car that's a couple grand and that's what you're using to get around and it's running and it's great, if you can afford to replace that car, you're good. If you can't, you may need to think about the cost of collision coverage, because if it's an older car, it's not going to cost you a ton of money. Now, I mean, a ton of money, that's relative. I probably should say it this way. If you have an older car, you're not going to pay as much as if you have a 2024, 25, or 26 vehicle. I mean, if you have a Cadillac Escalade as opposed to a 4-door Chevy sedan, your rate's going to be much lower with that 4-door Chevy sedan. So that's just the way policies are written.
Yeah. I do know that they write them based on, a little bit anyway, based on the cost to replace the vehicle, the expense in doing so. It's just like homeowners. Like, if you have a $100,000 house or $300,000 house, the rates are going to be different because it's going to cost more to rebuild one over the other.
Right.
So cars are the same because we pay different prices, because we buy what we can afford or what we find feasible to us. So if you're driving, and
some cars have cars have reputations too, and reputations, like a 29-year-old with a Mustang, they're going to pay a very high rate.
Absolutely.
Now, my old behind could get the same Mustang and my rates are going to be high, but they're not going to be that high. They're going to be much lower because I don't have any move-in violations. I don't have any tickets. I haven't had any at-fault accidents, and I've kept the same insurance like forever.
Yep. So because you are in insurance, that's something that's I find when I start seeing my insurance going up every year and I don't see any reason for why this is happening, I find sometimes I'll be like, you know what, let me shop around, because there's no reason I should be paying it. I literally just did that this year because my mortgage has gone up like the last couple years because the insurance, the insurance kept going up. Not, taxes did as well, because property values increased. I got it when it first happened because I was like, okay, the property got reappraised by the county. It was higher, blah, 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 blah. I expected everything to go up. And then it went up again, and then it was going up again this year. And I was like, absolutely not. So I shopped around. I was able to take $1,000 off of my homeowners. And
wow,
I think I cut my car insurance in half.
That's a huge cut.
It was a huge, that's a problem that I have with some companies. And it's not even just in the insurance realm, it's with all kinds of things. It's like sometimes the customers that are loyal to you and stay with you, you don't show me that you appreciate that by locking in me a certain way as that customer, especially if, like you said, I have no moving violations. I have no claims, like nothing has happened. So why is my insurance continuing to go up with no explanation of that? Now I'm like, I'm out. Then I have certain other companies that appreciate the fact that I've been with them, for who knows how long, and they grandfather me into certain things so that I don't deal with that type of thing. So I'm impressed that you've been able to that you're able to say that you've been with your insurance company forever, because I cannot.
Well, if you get, and I've changed vehicles a ton. I've lived in other states, so I have switched carriers because when I moved from Pennsylvania twice after that, then another company just had a better rate. But normally when your rates increase, something changes. If your rates go up and nothing has changed, then that is a process they have gone through, because insurance companies can't just raise rates. They have to go through an actual process. So there are either Commonwealth or Commissioner boards that have to approve, and it goes through your state process. Like it's a big deal. They don't just get to wake up and say, okay, we need to raise our rates. Nope. They don't get to do that. There's a full legal process they have to go through. They are supposed to notify you by mail in advance that your rates are going to go up and why there's an increase, especially if you haven't had any accidents.
Yeah, I got a notification that it was going up. I can't remember ever getting a notification of why.
Yeah, that's crazy, because that should be.
Yeah,
what about monitoring devices? Like Safe Driver, do you advise usage of that as a gimmick just to monitor, collect, increase your rates later? Okay, so Simply Bell, that is a real thing. Those built-in monitoring systems where they monitor, I just feel like they already know enough about my life. Like Kick Rocks, you're not doing that. You're not going to have the ability to follow me around every day and where I go, because they know how fast you're going. Well, let me take a step back. You realize your car has a black box. Everybody's does. We can get that box. We can pull that data. We can read it. So I know how fast you're driving, Gina. And I know when you're hitting that brake and your car's nosediving, just missing the car in front of you. So when I pull that data and you tell me, no, I wasn't speeding. Yes, you were, ma'am. So those devices are in place to, one, help promote safer driving. They want people to stay within the speed limits. Basically, that's what they want. It does give you a lower rate, and unless you stop it, if you start it and then later on you take it off, you're going to see your rate go, what you would perceive as a rate going up. But for everything you get on your policy that's a discount, when it's removed, that discount is removed. It's like a sale at Macy's. It's only on for Mother's Day or whatever, and then it's back to the regular price. So the same thing with those monitoring devices. I don't think anything is wrong with them. I think they're really good for young drivers because it kind of reminds them to stay within the speed limit, or at least to travel with the speed of traffic, not to speed, not to roll through stop signs, and not to blow through yellow lights. And I know we've all done it. I've done it. God knows I've done it. But those things they can be useful, and they keep your rates low. You get a discount for that.
Yes. What are some things that people can do to get discounts on homeowners?
Homeowners are tough. Because they're so different. But one of the things you can do is look at your company and see if they offer a discount for a security system. If you have because a lot of people have home monitoring systems, that will give you a discount. Try to pick a homeowner's company that also offers auto insurance, because you want to put those two on the same policy, and you'll get a discount on both your homeowners and your auto. So you want to try to choose a company where you can put them together. Look at 2A in LA giving out monies.
Thank you, Pam. That's why I started
monies. Thank you, bro. He's the best. So try to pick a homeowner's policy that can put those two things together. Call your homeowner's company up and say, my rates are whatever for the year. What do you have in place to give me a lower rate because I'm shopping around? And do a little shopping around.
Yes.
Homeowners are tricky, especially for people in this community, because you got nice guns, you have greenhouses, you have all these fruits and vegetables and fruit trees and other things planted. You've got all this beautiful jewelry and, diamond earrings and beautiful watches and necklaces. Those things aren't covered under your regular homeowner's policy. There's a limit, and it's very low for the most part. People lose things all the time. It's called mysterious disappearance, which I think is hilarious, but that's what it's called. Like if you lose your birthstone ring or wedding ring, where you poor saps that are married. Just kidding. No, I'm not. If you lose your wedding rings or something like that, and you lose them like in your house or your home, and then you can't find them, that's a claim. You can actually file a claim against your homeowner's policy. Do not be afraid to use your homeowner's policy thinking, oh my God, if I make too many claims, they're going to cancel me. So what? Get another policy. Just think how many years you're paying into your policy and not making any claims for the most part, for most of us. So don't be afraid to file a legitimate claim. It will be honored. This is the biggest myth I'd like to dispel about insurance companies. I have heard over the last week, because I watch a lot of podcasts and I listen to a lot of talks on concealed carry insurance or people that carry firearms. And people say, well, insurance companies, that's their job. They want to look to deny a claim. I assure you that one of the first things we learn as insurance adjusters, and it's not easy to get a license. You have to take a licensing exam, and many people don't pass the exam. So I'm not giving up my license lightly. I will keep my license active until the day I depart. That's how tough it is to get this license. So we are taught to look for coverage. My job is to find coverage for you. If I cannot find any coverage, I have to be able to show an exception as to why I am not going to extend coverage. So don't ever think that our job is to deny you coverage. We're looking for a way not to pay a claim. That is categorically untrue. And I've worked at more than one insurance company, and big insurance companies, well-known big boys. So that's not true. Don't think that our job is to deny coverage. And I handle claims right now for a living. So I look at coverage every day. I looked at a claim today where I had to try to figure out if there was coverage or not. And I was able to find coverage for most parts of it. One part, somebody told a fib, so that didn't get covered. But the other parts were all covered. So that person is eventually going to be protected.
So I have another question, because I asked the question of coverages that you may have that are not necessary to have. What about coverages you may not have that you probably should have when it comes to your homeowners? I would say
the biggest one is going to be medical coverage in your state. It's going to be called two different things. It could be MedPay. It could be called PIP, PIP, Personal Injury Protection, depending on where you live. But that is a big one, because an ambulance ride from the scene of an accident to a hospital is somewhere between $700 and $1,500. If you don't have great insurance through your employer, or you have a high deductible plan, that whole bill you're going to owe.
Yeah.
So it may be prudent to get, $5,000, $10,000. It depends on how much you drive. If you're on the highway driving 45 minutes back and forth to work 5 days a week, you need to think about looking at coverage that's going to protect you. So medical coverage is one. The other coverage is called uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage. And this is the coverage that applies to you When
Mhm.
you are injured and the other party either has no insurance
Mhm.
or they have the state minimum, say you're an accountant and you're a nurse and you fracture two of your fingers. Well, you're going to be out of work for a while, probably.
Mhm.
So if that person that's responsible has no insurance, you
Mhm.
need underinsured motorist coverage because that
Mhm.
will pay for the injury that you suffered that you can't get from the at fault party because they don't have an active policy. Can you sue the person even if they don't have insurance? People, is blood from a stone.
It is.
Knock yourself out. Nobody's saying you can't do it. I'm not even saying you shouldn't do it. I'm saying it is a very frustrating road. And they probably don't have insurance because either they don't care or they can't afford it.
Yep.
If you
And
have solar
you could
installed on the
win.
roof of your home, will certain
You
insurance
could win
companies
that
will not
case
claim?
and never get a dime of it. That person can file bankruptcy and get it wiped out. It's a lot of loops.
You could get the judgment. Yeah, you can get a judgment
You can get the
against
judgment, but
somebody,
the judgment does
but they're
not.
never going to pay it. They're not going to
It does
pay
not
it.
guarantee payment.
I just think it's, do you want to frustrate yourself that way? And is it,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm not making time to punish anybody that much. I'm just not. I don't know what their circumstances are. It could be something tragic. Just kind of move through things that are really unfortunate that happen to you. Move through them with a sense of grace because you don't know what's happening with those other people. Um, should everybody driving have insurance? Yes, because in almost every state it's required. But if
Mm-hmm.
they don't, really, ultimately, make sure you can protect yourself. Make sure you can either afford to replace your car or make sure you have coverage for your car.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you have coverage for injuries that you may sustain if you're injured by an uninsured person or a person that has state minimum, but you suffer a fractured hand, elbow,
Mm-hmm.
foot, whatever it may be. Those
Mm-hmm.
claims and body parts and claims have definite values.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what was I didn't even read this. Oh,
the
the
solar
solar.
panel.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know. I don't think that they would deny a claim for solar panels on your roof. I'm guessing you're saying simply, Belle, if there was damage to the roof, well, they wouldn't blame it on the solar panel. This goes back to we're always looking for coverage. We're not looking to deny coverage. We start out, we're looking for coverage. We're saying, this is simply Belle. She lives at 123 Apple Street in, Bellevue, Maryland. And she's had a new roof. The roof is in good shape. There were no leaks prior to it, but a tree fell on it, or there was a hailstorm and the roof got damaged. There was a windstorm and it ripped the shingles off or something. Then that would be a covered loss. So they're always looking to give you coverage. They're not looking to say, okay, let's see if we can deny it because this happened. But I would say
Mm-hmm.
call your homeowner's company and say, hey, I'm thinking about getting solar panels installed on my roof. How will that affect any claim I have if my roof is damaged? And let them explain. Make sure you get the name of the person you're speaking with, of course, and then tell them to show you where it is in the policy. Where is that in my policy? Where can I find that? Can you send that to me? They'll do it. What are you laughing at?
2A in LA and
What's
flossing.
he
Talking
doing?
about they
See,
body. My body parts definitely have value. Lawson said he basically co-signed the statement saying he was thinking the same thing. So I have heard this as well in with people who have dogs because insurance companies will give you a discount sometimes for having a dog, But people don't realize because they think certain breeds are better to have to get those discounts, and they're not. Those certain breeds can increase your insurance premium rather than decrease it because they have a reputation for having incidents that causes a payout.
Yeah, that's true. They can the kind of dog. I can't look at Tuli Nellie's comments. I
I know.
can't do
They
it.
get on my
I can't. Some dogs will cause you to have a higher rate. If you have a dog, you probably want to have some additional liability coverage. But this is the thing about dogs. And Rotties, Pits. How about OG Tank? Even German Shepherds, some little dogs that are aggressive. So it's not just the big ones. And I had a Doberman for 15 years. And it wasn't a horrible spike in my homeowner's policy. My dog, of course, was. But this is the thing. When you get these dogs, understand what you're buying, understand the breed, get some proper training. People have dogs that they don't control. They let them out. They're not on a leash. So you're freaking Cane Corso with a, bite that has this high, poundage because they're so big. Have that dog bite a 10-year-old kid. Yeah, they're going to sue you because that kid's going to have a scar for the rest of their lives. So dogs are great. Any kind of defense that you have for your home, any kind of system, all of that helps keep your policy down. You can even ask them to come out and do a survey of your property to see if there's some additional things you can do to lower your rates. That's always a good thing, especially if you're just buying a house for the first time or you're moving to an area you're not familiar with. You probably want to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, sea floss, and that's what I mean. Like little dogs bite.
They're the worst to me, and I am a dog lover. And little ones are just they're more possessive of their.
They're high strung.
They are. They are real nippy.
But I like big dogs. I want a dog that's going to rip your face off if you come in. That's the kind of dog I want. So.
Yeah, me too. I like big dogs. If you have a registered emotional support animal,
I would say the answer is probably yes, only because if you're renting, hey, Sunshine, if you're renting, that owner has a right to deny anybody because they don't want the breed on the property. Most apartment complexes have those restrictions, and some of them are like dogs you wouldn't think of. Dalmatians, because Dalmatians are nippy. So can they, even if you say it's an emotional support animal, unless it's not an emotional support animal, unless it is a caregiving animal for somebody that has a physical disability or they're blind, like a seeing eye dog. Those kinds of dogs, you won't be denied. But emotional support dogs, they can deny it. They can deny you access to a property for that reason, because they can just say this is a liability we as the owner of this property are not willing to take on.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. Hey everybody, I haven't spoke to that has come in. I've been seeing y'all coming in. She said no. I mean, can the insurance company say no if the property owner allows it?
No, the insurance company doesn't care. You can get a liability policy that says you have a dog. You can, in the policy itself, if you want to add additional liability coverage, it's like if you have a house with a pool, you probably want to get additional liability coverage just in case somebody gets hurt while they're on your property in or around your swimming pool. But an insurance company is not going to deny you a policy because of the kind of dog you have. Do insurance companies' prices increase after a natural disaster to recoup? Only if it's a disaster of monumental proportions, like 1980 something Hugo had literally entire states washed out. I mean, houses gone, businesses gone, all cars gone, car dealer, everything. I mean, it was, if some companies went under and never recovered. So if it's of that proportion, rates could go up. Other than that, insurance companies are required by law to plan for natural disasters every year. They have to set that money aside. It has to be real money. It can't be, we're going to probably make this profit. No, it has to be real money. And insurance companies themselves have insurance. It's called reinsurance. So if all their coffers are empty because of a natural disaster, then the reinsurance policy would kick in. And that's required by law. They don't get a choice.
That's good to know.
Simply Bell's got some good questions.
Yes.
We haven't even gotten to the concealed carry
we
yet.
haven't.
Oh
I guess we could get into that if you guys have more questions on the other side. But insurance companies can and do pull out of an error. Yeah, I can see that.
That happens, Tank, but it's so rare. And insurance companies have to get government approval to do that. They can't just say, we're not going to sell here anymore. State Farm has done it in a couple places, but they're like the biggest insurance company in the United States. And they had to really petition. So they don't just get to say, oh, we're just going to not write in this state. We're just not going to write any more farm policies in Oklahoma. No, they don't get to do that. There's a whole big legal process. And it's so rare that an insurance company pulls out. Insurance companies have money on standby that they're required to keep, as I said, for every season. Like there's a dollar amount attached across the board for every car in every car accident, for every homeowner's policy. So for every pet policy, if you have a pet, for a swimming pool, motorcycle, any other like specialty vehicles, boats, yachts, anything else on the water, snowmobiles, and all of those things, they have to have a certain dollar amount available to actually be able to pay for the claim. So they don't get to just wake up and say, oh, we're not going to write any more policies here. That's not what happens. I assure you, it is not what happens.
Good. That's good to know. Simply Bill said, if a natural disaster occurs, can insurance companies file bankruptcy and not pay out claims, leaving their insured up? I don't know if it can happen that quickly though, Bill, but because go ahead.
You got to realize these companies are extremely well funded, and the law requires them to have a reinsurance policy. So they have to be underwritten by what's pretty much seen as a disaster or worst case scenario policy. So if, say in Pennsylvania, if there is or pick a place that has terrible storms, Florida. If there is a hurricane and 2/3 of the state is wiped out, those claims are still going to be paid. I've worked catastrophe claims. I know what it's like to write those checks. And it's at a catastrophe situation, you are not going to look at each car. You're telling people, send me proof of your ownership, vehicle year, make, mileage, options, send it to me. This is where your car was parked. Here's your check is on the way, automatic direct deposit. Where they don't screw around. Insurance companies are not what people think they are. They're not. They're looking to pay claims. They're not looking to avoid paying claims.
Yeah, I think also that people have the wrong assumption about bankruptcy. And I don't even think it. I know it. Y'all know that's the area that I work in. I don't work in corporate bankruptcy, but it's pretty much similar. It's just a bigger conglomerate of debt than for a personal person, someone who files a personal bankruptcy. That's not a get out of jail free card. You don't just,
Right.
you still have to show all your assets, and they will liquidate. They will pay out the creditors from those funds. So when I speak of creditors, that for an insurance company, that would be their policy holders and things like
Right.
that. They will liquidate those. So that it's not just, oh, I'm just going to get out of paying. No, you can't. That's not a thing. Just
Yeah,
just
you
so you
still
know,
have to
that's
pay it. Your insurance company, your insurance policy is your contract. That's a
mhm,
legal binding contract. Just the way
mhm,
you pay your policy on time, as long as you are paid on time and your policy and your application is true and correct. And this is
mhm,
where people go wrong. So if you have, especially if you have young adults, because this is where I see it most often, where a mom and dad, or a mom with kids, or a dad with kids that are driving age, think, I'm not going to put them on the policy because they cost too much. Then that kid has an accident,
mhm,
they hurt somebody, and
mhm,
then they have to report the claim to their insurance company. And then the parents are upset that the insurance company is asking them 1,000 questions. That's because
mhm,
that is considered fraud. And
mhm,
you can get yourself in real trouble doing
mhm,
that. So if there
mhm,
is on your application, and this is on almost everyone from every company I've ever seen, it tells you you have to list all members in your household. It doesn't say that little Johnny's only driving on Saturdays because he works 1 day a week. It doesn't say little Jeannie's only going to the store because I had a cold, I had the flu, and I didn't feel well. Your insurance company doesn't care about that. If they live in your household and they have access to your car, and you can't say, oh, my boyfriend lives here sometimes, but he doesn't live here all the time, and he can't drive my car. Ma'am, if your keys are on the kitchen table, John is driving your car. John's driving your car. So when John has an accident, and I call and I'm asking you 1,000 questions, yeah, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. After hurricane, I proved my claims, and it was so hard and extremely discouraging. I was afraid. I don't
mhm.
know, and I'm not going to ask you to tell, and I don't want you to tell simply, but I don't want you to say which company you had insurance with. But if insurance companies are good at what they do, you don't have those kind of issues in hurricanes. We have whole teams. I can be pulled off of my regular desk to go and work catastrophe claims, which is what hurricanes and floods and tornadoes and earthquakes and things like that are. They have whole teams dedicated. They're specially trained just to handle those cases. Um, and then they will ask for volunteers, or they will ask for people to be pulled off their regular work to go and work those claims. And you stay on that rotation. You work 30 days in a row, then you get 5 days or 7 days off, then you go back on for 30 days. And you do that. You can do that for as long as a year. You do that until every claim that has been filed has been paid and closed. So if your company gave you a hard time, I'm really sorry to hear that, because that should never happen.
I
You should
agree
not
because
feel like a victim twice.
absolutely, because
I've
you're
I've
paying
worked
higher
with
rates
cat claims
because you live in states that have
that are
these.
prone to it.
Yeah, you pay more. Like if you even live in a place where it's not so much because of um hurricanes and things like that, but because of where you live, it's prone to flood, you pay more. I mean, there's
So
people in
keep good
Ohio who live in
records
flood
too.
zones.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
keep good records of the things in your house. And this is where claims can get difficult. If you know you own something, but you don't have any record of it, or you have a fuzzy picture from last Christmas and it's only a partial, you can only see part of the thing, whatever the thing is. Um, Take good pictures, get a good list, store it somewhere other than your house, or put it on a flash drive, and don't have the flash drive in your house. Like, you have to have it somewhere other than where you reside, because chances are you can't get to that thing. There is no specific natural disaster coverage because it's just too broad and unpredictable, but your homeowners should cover your house and anything in it. Some places have flood insurance. Not every place has flood insurance. Some places you cannot buy it because of the zone that you live in. So you have to check with your carrier and find out if it's available where you live. Some places it is, some places it isn't. I saw somebody made a comment about move-in violations on your auto policy, saying if you have a move-in violation, that's 4 points on your license. That's every state doesn't have points. Some states don't care. Some states I work, it doesn't matter whether you're sitting still or whether you change lanes and hit somebody or ran a red light. It's still a liability. You're still at fault. Doesn't matter. And there are no points. There are no reporting agencies. The cop may write a ticket. He may not. It won't make a difference to your it. You don't get points on your license, and then those points go from the state reporting agency to your insurance company. That doesn't happen everywhere.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that with the natural disaster, because that's something I had heard as well, that's not, there's typically not an actual quote unquote natural disaster coverage in your policy.
Right.
But, and I you mentioned also where some places you can't get the flood. And I know that that's usually where it's inevitable. It's going to happen. This is not an uncommon thing for what the property you are buying. So guess what? Don't buy in this place because it's known to flood and we're not paying for it. So they usually, it's like with any, just think about if you had to pay out, if that thing, and you know this thing is going to happen. So that means you're absolutely going to have to pay this every time. You don't want it, you know? So they also have to weigh that as a business. Like it has to make sense. Like the people who buy those houses in California, that's known to, where it's known to be catch fire, and it's a probability that that's going to happen. If you're in that area, because it gets really dry and hot, you may not have the same coverage as somebody who doesn't live in that area.
Right.
That's just the unfortunate thing of it. So you have to consider that, like, is it really worth having this place that may be in a space that's is inevitable? It's going to flood.
So check in your company, wherever you get your policy, it will say it in the language of the policy, but always pick up the phone and ask. Call your insurance company, wherever you get your policy, call that number and ask them, and they should be able to answer. Now, if you're asking questions and they can't answer, that's a problem. But to me, that's anybody for anything. If you can't answer questions about your product, I don't want your product, because how do I trust that what I have is what I really need? There's certain words you should not use against, let's say, the word mole. No, you can use whatever. We understand when we're taking claim information that you are not the claim expert. You're not the mold expert. You're not the water expert. You're not the land expert. You're not the roofer. We understand that you are the policyholder and you're making a claim because you have something that's damaged or broken, or somebody's injured, or an incident occurred, and you think there's coverage. So we don't expect you, if there's a homeowner's claim, I don't handle homeowners now, but if there's a homeowner's claim and you say there was a storm, my roof got damaged, and now I have mold on my dining room wall, then they're going to send somebody out to inspect that. They'll send a specialist if they need one, or they'll send a cleaning crew to clean it. and remove it and then re-inspect it, and then that's, repair whatever is damaged. But no, they don't penalize you because you used the wrong words.
Mm-hmm. Also, though, I would say, if you are, when this is probably dealing more so with it, well, probably either or. If you are filing a claim, but it's not within your policy, it's because you've been caused injury through someone else's, and you're making the claim through their policy. I say watch your words, because they're trying to get verbiage that can contradict the whole scenario, especially with car accidents. Well, and it probably depends on your state. So in Ohio, or I know for sure in my city, I don't know if this is a state thing, but I think it is. They don't cite anyone for car accidents anymore. That's dealt with.
That's a lot of places.
Your insurance companies. So if you were hit and the person who hit you tries to say that, oh, well, they did X, Y, Z, and that's what happened, even though you're supposed to have enough space in between you and that person and not let that thing happen. The insurance companies, they do try to trip you up a little bit so they ain't got to pay out as much. I know that for a fact.
That should not happen.
Ain't legit.
That should not happen. Mm-hmm. That does now. Agents are different than claims adjusters.
That's what I meant. Claims adjusters. Yes.
I'm a claims adjuster. I am taking a statement from all drivers, a recorded statement from all drivers. Mm-hmm. I'm taking a neutral statement, and then I'm putting all the pieces on the board and making a full puzzle, because my job actually is to protect my insured from any excess claim. It's not to protect them and not pay anything, because that's going to get them sued. That's not my purpose. So a good claims adjuster is non-biased. And can we do that? I can tell you with all certainty, I have done it for a very, very long time, a long number of years. I have been able to be very neutral, because I understand liability is not about individual people. It's about what happened to the vehicles in that moment. Now, if we don't know what happened, then I will say to both parties, we don't know what happened. If you're my insured and you have an accident and you're both saying the opposite thing and it could have happened either way, there are no witnesses, there's no camera. The police either did or didn't come. If they did, they're there after the fact. So, that's not helpful. But if I don't know what happened, then I'm going to say to my policyholder, I don't know what happened. I don't have enough data to prove that you are at fault. So I'm not going to pay another party if I can't prove my person is at fault. And your insurance company should be doing the same. Now, if I have enough data that says my person is at fault or more at fault, then I'm going to pay that other person. And it is my job to explain to my policyholder, this is why I'm paying the claim. I do it every day.
Yeah. And I do know that there's some people,
they should not be trying to get out of paying anything. That's not the job of an adjuster. I cannot stress that enough.
Yeah.
And it's very disheartening to hear that people have had those experiences. But there are insurance commissions, and if you have that experience and you think you're being treated unfairly, one, ask for a supervisor. And they have to tell you who the supervisor is. So you don't go for that I'm not telling you thing. If that falls through, find out who your insurance commissioner is. Every state has one, and file a claim with your insurance commissioner, because they will go to that insurance company and demand answers, and they don't play.
Yeah. I know that I don't know this. I think that because there are people who do try to play the system, beat the system, and
people lie all the time.
I think that sometimes you get an adjuster who just has that little chip that's what every person, it feels like that sometimes, that's what every person is doing.
That's a really inexperienced adjuster. And if you have that experience, you need to let their manager or supervisor know, because they need to either be out of there or they need to be retrained, because that should never be an experience. Look, I handle everything from fender benders to fatalities. And I'm telling you, this is a tough job.
I can
I have to
imagine.
give very nice people really bad news. I have to make some extremely difficult phone calls. So I can tell you with all clarity, all good, in good faith, I can assure you that a claims adjuster's job is to look for ways to pay your claim, is to make a fair liability decision when it comes to car accidents. Now, rear end accidents, you're always going to be at fault. You can't rear end people. You're driving too close. Don't tell me they stop suddenly. They're allowed to stop suddenly. That's okay. Is it nice? No. If somebody is brake checking you, slow down, move over, pull over, but take it as a real signal that something very not good is about to occur. Don't keep following behind them because they're pissed and they're brake checking you and now you're pissed. No, don't do that. Don't, especially for us if we're carrying our firearm. Please don't do it.
Yes.
I've had claims like that. It's not good. The road rage, don't do it.
No. It ain't worth it.
No.
So Bill said, can the presence of mold during one claim affect your homeowner's rate later because of the potential for?
No.
Is it for it to come back basically at a later time?
Yeah, that's the only reason, Belle, that I say that that's not something that a homeowner's, there's no language in the policy for that. And the issue is if you have mold and there's a claim, they have people that they hire companies that handle mold after storms to come in and do the cleanup in houses. So there should be no recurrence. It shouldn't grow back. If it does, then that company didn't do a good job and they would be required to come back out and correct that issue. So no, your policy doesn't say, well, it happened once, so it might happen again, because mold, can mold reoccur? If it's not treated properly, it can. But if it's properly treated, it won't. And insurance, and you guys, depending on how old you are, well, if you're not in the industry, you probably don't know this, but there was a landmark case about mold in a house. It had to be 25 years ago. And the people, there was a storm. It was a brand new house. I mean, brand spanking new house, big house. And they had mold. They didn't do proper cleanup of the mold. The people in the house got sick, told the insurance company there's still mold in the house. The insurance company didn't act fast enough. They sued them. It was a landmark decision. I mean, the state, they got slammed. Punitive damages, which means they were punished by the law because they did not properly handle that claim. And that's what can happen to insurance companies. So they don't take that lightly.
Yeah.
Wants to use aftermarket parts as opposed to original equipment. Almost every single insurance carrier uses aftermarket parts now because they're actually the same as the original. They just don't say Ford or Nissan or Jeep or GMC or whatever, but it's the same part. The newer your car is, if you have a car that's a newer model where maybe there aren't as many pieces in circulation, then you're likely to get one from the factory that's a very current model. But they're not going to get a 2026 Mustang door to put on your 2020 Mustang. Doesn't, because a door is a door is a door. So they're going to get a Mustang door. Or even if it's like a seat or a cover on the inside of the car, even if it's like a headline or things like that, if it's a headlight, if it's a rear view mirror, things like those things are identical, especially today. I mean, today it's I mean, everything is generated by a machine anymore. It's, you know, the way that they build them, it's so to spec, like the specs are so tight that you really are, you're not getting a lesser product when you get aftermarket. I know like even the word sounds like it means you're getting some cheap knockoff, but that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
Before or after, what about personal protection devices? Okay, so concealed carry insurance. This is a big one. I think if you carry every day, you should have it. The thing about concealed carry insurance, policies, companies, memberships, some people will say, oh, we're not an insurance company. Any type of coverage, excuse me, any type of coverage for for a firearm, you need to look at the kind of the big things that you would want to have covered. And that would be, of course, criminal defense. The easiest example really is if you shoot somebody in self-defense, a couple things could happen depending on where you live and all the circumstances, which we can't know and we can't name. But you will be interviewed. They're going to take the firearm. They are going to take you to a police station. You may not get arrested. You may just be questioned, but you should, always speak to an attorney. My advice would be not to start giving statements. First of all, for 98% of us, we've never been in that situation. We've never had to pull a firearm on somebody, and certainly never had to discharge it at a physical human being. So your brain is going to be and body are going to be doing all kinds of stressful things. You are probably not going to be in the best position emotionally to give a good, accurate statement. The other thing is that human recall is very poor. We think we see things and we remember them exactly, but I promise you that's not how it happens. That's not how our sense of recall is very poor. It's even worse under stress. And there's really only one type of coverage for concealed carry people. Now, there are different companies that call it different things and say different things and cover different things, but it's really concealed carry coverage, however you want to call it, insurance, policy, membership. Yes. So criminal, civil, bail bond, crime scene cleanup, lost wages, firearm replacement, red flag laws, psychological counseling after an incident, and bail, yes, is definitely on that list. I have a list. That's why I'm turning my head. So bond, Flossin, yes, bond is part of almost every single policy or program or membership that I've ever seen. The thing about a bond is they'll have up to a certain amount they cover, but you realize a bond is just a percentage. So if it's $100,000 bond, that means you've got to put up $10,000. Some people have that, some people don't. Depends on your financial situation. So you want to pick a policy that's going to best meet you. One of the best, let me start at the top. One of the best ways to pick a policy for concealed carry is not to look at how much it costs. Don't do that first. If you have to narrow down after you look at what they offer and then make a decision based on what you can afford, that's fine. That's great. But don't start off thinking this one's $37 a month. That's great. But do they have what you need? If you're the single breadwinner in your house, does that policy cover per diem for days you're at trial? If not, how are you going to have income? Most people are going to get fired. Most people have a clause in their contract, and it's not, we're going to wait until after trial to see if you're innocent or guilty. If you get arrested, you can get fired. They don't care what the charge is. So if you're involved in a shooting incident and you lose your job and you have to go to trial, do you have any income replacement? Some of these programs offer it. some don't. So you definitely want attorneys. Some of the pitfalls to these policies or these programs is that when you call the initial call, you're not sealing in attorney-client privilege. You're not talking to an attorney. So anything you say, including the recorded statement, because they are recording you, that information, those calls can be subpoenaed by the DA. Now, I know that there are some cases where they've tried to subpoena those calls from one of these programs and the judge denied it, that was good. But that may not always be the case because there's nothing that says the judge has to deny it. So you may want to consider picking a program where you're talking to an attorney. The biggest thing that people look, and I know we look at bail, we look at criminal, we look at civil, because even if there's no criminal charge, even if you get off and you're found innocent, that family could file a civil suit. Now, there are, and I'm not an attorney, but anybody can read this stuff. There are states where if you are charged with a criminal act and found not guilty, the other party or their family cannot then file a civil suit against you. In other words, it's not like you can have an altercation where you're found guilty and it is deemed legal self-defense, and then that family sues you because they have loss of income from the person that's deceased. So there are some states that don't allow that to happen, but that's not every state. So you need to check your state and see what the laws are in your state. To me, it's all the same. They can call it whatever they want to call it. What matters is what that policy says. Let me see what OG Tank is saying now.
That's what I was looking at, but trying to pull it up. Oh, was that attorneys on retainer? Was that who was at ARM?
They were at ARM, yeah.
That might be why they said that, because of their.
Well, they're not the only ones, though. They're not the only ones that attorneys answer their phones. There are plenty of these other programs where they do have attorneys on call 24/7, no exceptions, even major holidays. They are on call. They will answer the phone. But some of the big differences, OG Tank, are companies where this is the question. Were you involved in legal self-defense? So who's making that decision? Who are the people making the decision whether they deem it to be legal self-defense? This is before you're even charged. They're trying to determine, are they going to cover you? Who's making that decision? You need to know that. You need to find out from that company before you buy a policy. So if I call in, who are the people that are making that decision? Is it a team of lawyers? If not, if it's the owners or the board and they're making a decision, plus they supply the attorneys, to me, that feels like a conflict. Because you're saying you're going to cover me or you're not going to cover me. But if you do cover me, you're going to provide the attorney network that I select from. They're not all like that. But somebody has to make the initial decision. Is this a covered loss? Was this person acting legally in a self-defense manner? And what if they decide it's not? A lot of policies don't cover domestic events. Domestics are anything. Domestics are not just spouses, significant others. It could be any relatives. It could be neighbors that you've had anybody that you've had a prior conflict with. It could be a coworker. It could be almost anybody that you know that you've had any interaction with. They can deem that person as a domestic. So if there's a domestic violence situation, then they could say, no, we're not going to cover that. If you get it for your family, not just yourself. Yeah, but that's Silverback. I agree. If you have a partner, if there are other adults living in the house, if you have adult children that are living in the house, if you have kids that are old enough to handle a firearm, get it you would want to get it for everybody in the household. But my concern lately has been centered around who is making the decision about whether I was defending my life. Who's
Yeah.
making that decision? Because if they say I'm not legally defending my life, then they can say we're not going to cover you. None of the policies cover you if you're in an argument and you're the aggressor, as they say. You're not covered.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that depends on what your policies say. If your policy says that, OG Tank, and I can say this because I'm not biased, and that's why I won't be affiliated with any of these companies, because what people think is covered and how they think these decisions are made is so far from what really happens. There are some landmark cases right now that have just went to a state Supreme Court level, where a policyholder at a company was given coverage, and then they decided that that person was not legally in a self-defense mode, that they were the aggressor, and they pulled the coverage, and that person ended up getting charged with murder one and is in jail right now. Just went to their state Supreme Court, where they're going to push it back down and the case is going to be reheard. So that person has a chance to have that verdict overturned, but there's no guarantee. Somebody coming through your front door into your house, depends on who that someone is. That has a lot to do with whether they cover you or not. Most policies or programs or memberships do cover any what they call legal weapon. That's another thing. Do they say we will cover any legal weapon that you use to defend yourself, or does it say we will cover anything that you use to defend yourself? That's a different thing.
If it says legal weapon, are they specific in what those are in the policy?
No, they're not,
so
because it's different in every state. So you have to know what's not legal in your state. For example, if your state doesn't allow a knife with a certain blade length, that's going to matter. Even where you are when the incident occurs, if you're in a restricted area, if you're in a no gun zone area, if you're in a state where you don't have a license and a license is required, all of those types of things. So just be mindful of these programs in particular. I look at what's not covered first, because I think that's where the holes are. That's where we get tripped up. And I've had people say this. I have ABC company. I've had them for 7 years. They're great. How do you know? You've never had a claim.
Yeah.
You don't know that they're great. You know that you're paying your bill every month, or you paid it yearly, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, if you pay it yearly for most of them, you save a little bit, so that, if you want to get a policy, think about making a yearly payment. Save yourself a little money.
What would you say are the most important things to look for when you're looking for a policy, the self-defense policy?
Make sure it gives you what you need as far as criminal defense. You probably want unlimited. You don't want a cap on it. $1 million or $2 million sounds like a lot of money, but it's not really. You want to make sure you have access to experts, and your experts could be accident reconstruction. You could have an expert for the exact firearm that you have and how that firearm specifically works. You could have a ballistics expert. So all those things could happen. I personally like to look for policies where they are going to give you a team locally. Wherever you are, they're going to dispatch a team of people that somebody can go talk to your family. Somebody can get your personal belongings. Somebody can call the DA and get in to have that conversation. The attorney has to be notified because, these insurance companies, they don't have an attorney just sitting around waiting in every city. These attorneys are on retainer pretty much. I mean, they're waiting for a call, and then they get paid when they take a client, or they are contracted with that company. So if they get a call, then they take that client on. But I would say those things, you want to make sure you have, to me, lost wage coverage or per diem coverage, which however it's listed. I think that's important. I'm responsible for me, so I can't not have an income. I can't not have a job, not have an income, and be at trial for a year, So I would want that. Firearm replacement coverage. Yeah, it depends. There is one company, Shadow Systems, I think, is the only firearm company that I know of. If your firearm is seized in a self-defense situation, they will replace it. Most of the other policies, either they don't have it or it's like $1,000 cap. So it depends on what you're carrying. If you're carrying a gun that's under $1,000, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
Simply Bell and OG Tank are talking about, and these are some good points. There are every state is so different, guys. It really is. So it's hard to determine what the best course of action can be for each person. That's why we all have to really do a little research on our state, do a lot of research on our state, so that we know. Because what Simply Bell is saying is that some places have a duty to retreat, but as far as I know, the duty to retreat doesn't apply if you're inside of your house. Now, it may where you live, Simply Bell, but I would double check that, because a duty to retreat usually doesn't mean if you're in your home and someone breaks into your home. I haven't seen a state where you're required to retreat to a safer part of your primary residence. I haven't seen that. Now, it could be.
And they'll, just for reference, you guys are in totally different states of firearm rights, because OG Tank is in Texas, and Texas is like, do as you will. If somebody's trying to, there are boundaries.
Somebody just got in trouble.
I was going to say
trouble in Texas, right?
I was about to say Texas, but the person who got in trouble, it was something different to it. But Texans, I think, have this mindset because their stand your ground is so lenient compared to even some other states. Like if someone comes up to you and robs you, you have every right to take their life and all that in Texas. Like they have some very loose laws around the crimes.
And the question is, do you want to? Even if you can, because it doesn't mean, even with the stand your ground laws, this is where we go. This is where our thinking stops. It kind of gets stagnated at if somebody comes to my house, I'm going to. If I get attacked in the street, I'm going to. But what happens after that is what I want people to consider. Whether you have concealed carry insurance or not, some people are fortunate enough. Maybe they have, I don't know, $2-3 million. They're good. They don't need to have a policy. They can live off that money. They can pay out $2 million for a trial. They're set. That's fine. But the mental anguish of having your life
think about that
put on hold after that. And I know, at least the people that I've spoken to, I know very few people that have been involved in an incident where they didn't even fire the gun, just having to pull the gun. How psychologically devastating that has been long term, not just for a day or two or a week or two. Long term. So you want to think about, even if I can, even if I live in a state that allows it, that it's legally justified according to the laws on the books at the time, do I want to put myself through that? Do I want to have to live? Now, some people, they're good. All right.
But even if you would not change what you did, sometimes there is still that mental with it. Even if you know if it happened again and it's my life to their life, I'm going to do it. But it doesn't mean that you don't deal with anything from that situation.
Yeah. And a lot of these programs will have psych counseling available to you. It could be 10 visits. It could be 20. Wait, what's happening here? I'm in Texas. I know a lot of instructors in Louisiana. Y'all's laws are okay. That's Texas
now,
laws.
The guy who did get in trouble in Texas, it was because he wasn't, because you still have to know what is beyond what you are trying to, the person or whatever that you're trying to hit when you're shooting your firearm. Yeah. He shot into a car that he assumed the person who robbed him had jumped into, and they had not. And he shot and I'll just say M'd, because I know the internet is funny about saying certain words. I think she was like 9 or so. She was a young girl.
It was a family's car, right?
Yes, it was a family. It was at a bank. Him and his wife had been robbed. He jumped out the car. The person ran off, and this family happened to be pulling in to go to the bank in the middle of all this happening. And the assumption was that the robber jumped into that car and they were trying to escape from the situation. And he just loosely fired at that car. So he was found guilty for taking her life. And I don't know what his sentence was. I didn't follow it.
I don't know either. But I know he was charged.
He was.
Yeah, I know he was arrested and charged, and I think he's been sentenced.
Yeah. He has. I just didn't catch what it was.
Laws. An officer told me that. Okay, I don't listen to police officers. They're not attorneys. I don't.
I agree with Siege.
I don't. I know very few police officers that understand. I only know a lot about the law because I've handled claims for 30 years, and I have cases that go to trial, and I understand policy language, and I understand, and I did a lot. I spent about 7 months doing research on concealed carry insurance. I even talked to some of the people representing the concealed carry company. So I didn't just make my decision in a vacuum. I asked them questions and gave them a chance to answer those questions. And they don't even know what they're selling. They don't understand their own policies because they're not making the decision. They're collecting your premium. They're collecting your premiums, and they don't understand insurance. And when they're asked the hard questions, they don't have good answers. I don't listen to police officers because they're not, unless they are an attorney, that could be. If it's somebody that can sit down and have a great conversation because they have done their research, that's fine. But you have the ability. I'm trusting that all of you have the ability and will do your own research for your state, because I don't know every single state. I don't know every law in every state.
Yeah.
And I think we need to draw we need to shine a spotlight on what you're legally allowed to do and what you really should be doing. Because, and that's a talk you have to have with yourself. Where does your moral compass point? How does that land? Where do you draw a line in the sand? For me, I have to make that decision for myself, and everybody else has to make it for themselves. But be really mindful that firearm, while we say it's a tool, its original construction is for one purpose, is to end shit. So There's
Yeah,
psychological counseling when that happens. I mean, there's psychological ramifications when that happens. And I don't
100%.
think anybody can just go through one of those incidents, at least not anybody I've ever spoken to
Mm-mm.
or heard talk about it, or
Mm-hmm.
anybody that I know, and even from my own personal experience. You don't just go to bed, wake up, and it's all over. That's not, I
Mm-hmm.
assure you, that's not what the feeling is.
It's not.
It can devastate your life.
It absolutely can. I know that personally. I have a relative that dealt with that, a situation where they had to use a firearm to save their life. And regardless of that, there was definitely mental ramifications from it. And the problem sometimes, especially with men, and this was a male, they don't seek out to talk to someone to get through it. He is, in my opinion, self medicating through it, through alcohol, and he has been for a long time, over 20 years.
Yeah, that's,
So,
it doesn't have to be that way. We do have to
mhm,
think about what happens on the other side of pulling that firearm, and
mhm,
what it's going to do to us in our lives. And I've said this before. If you are saying I don't need concealed carry insurance because I follow the law, that doesn't mean you won't be arrested and charged. It
mhm,
doesn't mean that you won't end up in a legal battle that you're not prepared to deal with financially. So if it's just you and you don't mind being, having your finances just ripped away from you, that's fine. But if you have
yeah,
people you love and care about, you probably don't want to put them in that situation. If you're the part of the earner in the family or in the household, you have to think about, if I'm carrying my firearm every day, especially if
mhm,
I'm prone to encounter areas because of work, because of travel, because of, what I do socially or where my family lives, if I have to encounter areas that are full of conflict, or that are more prone where something could happen,
mhm,
am I willing to put my family in a financially devastating position because I pulled a firearm and had to end somebody but didn't get any insurance? And do you have
mhm,
to have it? Nope, nothing makes you have it.
yeah,
It's not like car insurance where in almost every state you're required to have it. But you
yeah,
don't have to have concealed carry insurance. It's a comfort thing for some
yeah,
people. Some people are like, "Oh, I follow the law. I don't need it." That's not always going to be enough to save
mhm,
you from being arrested.
mhm,
People get arrested just for, oh, who was talking about somebody that it was a road rage incident, and
mhm,
the one party took the gun out of the wherever they had it in their car and just put it on the dash. The other people called the police. The person that showed it on the dash is the one that
mhm,
got arrested for brandishing. Didn't
mhm,
didn't point it, didn't pick it up and point it at them, just took it from being non-visible to making
mhm,
it visible, and that was
mhm.
enough to get them charged.
See,
So where
yeah.
you live has a lot to do
Oh,
with
it
that, the
does.
gun culture and the political climate is of your area and your state.
Mhm.
That's big.
It is
That's big. But
very
I've
true.
interviewed, I mean, for people that have been around, and for people that may know me from other channels, from a regular Gun Guys channel, I'm the one that interviewed USCCA and CCW Safe and attorneys on retainer. That was me.
Mhm, mhm,
I'm the one that asked them the questions. I'm the one
mhm.
that really was able to shine a light on that and say, I don't want you to walk in here and just sell my friends and people I
Yes.
know and people that seem to really be into this gun culture in a good way. I don't want you to sell them a product that's not going to really help them in a time of need.
Mhm.
And I have to say, out of those interviews with some very good information, that I felt like they were exposed. I felt like they got exposed.
Yeah, I
I really
believe
do.
you. And if you don't follow, because I know some of the people in the chat do, and some don't follow a regular gun guy. You That's literally the channel name, A Regular Gun Guy. You can usually type it in the search bar and find it. Because I don't know if I have any mods in the chat to drop it. But you could go over there. It would have been a live stream. So you could go over there and check out the live streams where those were the conversations. If you want to see what those hard questions were that Siege asked the insurance company and how they answered them.
And some of them had good answers. Some of them did provide the coverage that I think we're all looking for: criminal, civil, bail, gun replacement, per diem or lost wages, crime scene cleanup, which originally, before I started researching, I didn't think about crime scene cleanup. I didn't think about getting a $3,500 bill from my county because there was an incident outside and it's all over the sidewalk and it's got to be cleaned up. Like, that's hazardous material. That's a special team that has to come in and do it. It's not free. Like,
I wouldn't have thought of that. Thank you, Shanna.
So
I didn't know if I had anybody in here still. She dropped the channel.
What we should do and what we can do, and what is a legal weapon? What does depends on what that CC company, that CCW company decides. How do they define that? What does it say? If you said this or not. Does alleged guilt or innocence matter if you have a policy? Will you be covered regardless? No, you will not be covered regardless. And from my understanding, most people in these cases, when they're charged, if they don't determine that it is a clean self-defense incident and you are charged, they may lessen the charge. They could drop it down to 6 months parole, but that's still considered a guilty verdict. So there are some of these CCW programs that will not cover you if you take a plea deal. Will you be asked to pay back money if you take a plea deal? Some of them have the right to do it. And to me, if it says it in the policy that they have a right to do it, then that means you need to be aware of that financially, because that means if they've spent $120,000 on your defense and then they decide you're guilty because you took a plea bargain, which most people are offered, then they could come back and ask for that money. Has it happened? Not that I'm aware of, but the fact that it's in the policy means it can happen. So you have to decide if that's how important that is to you. And the reason I say that is because the last time I spoke with an attorney about these kinds of policies, one of the things he said was, do you realize that if you have a manslaughter charge against you, if they knock it down, if it's not, one of the big M1s or M2, if it's down to manslaughter, and then they take it from manslaughter to 6 months or a year probation or 2 years probation, are you going to risk going to trial where you could end up with 25 years to life? Or are you going to take the 2 years or 1 year probation? What are you going to do? Most people are going to take the probation.
Yeah.
Because this whole idea that the system is fair and that you're going to get a fair hearing with a jury of your peers, come on. That would be lovely if that were always the case, but
that would be amazing. But we know that to not be true.
That's not always the case. You're not always going to be seen as you're not always going to get the fairest shot. So they can, as far as I know, the programs that I've seen, they start with that's why I said, to me, who is making the decision if this is a good shoot or not? Who is making that decision? Because that's going to determine if they even start to cover you. And I know people get into this whole debate about whether you get to choose your own attorney or they choose the attorney for you. Like, to me, that's not a big deal, because you're going to get, I would want to know something about the attorney, but you can always research it. I wouldn't want to spend my money. Well, OG Tank, I know what you're saying. You're not copping to anything. That's a character issue. It's not a character issue if you're facing 25 to life or a year's probation. That's a crapshoot, in my opinion. And most people, I've heard people say that before, but I also haven't, fortunately, I haven't been in a position where the rest of my life is at jeopardy versus taking 2 years probation. So I can't say categorically what I would do, but I think I would take the plea for the 2 years probation and live my life and keep my nose clean. That's what I think I would do. If it came down to those two choices, going to trial and chancing it or taking the 2 years probation. If I'm riding with Jay. Yes, that's my point, Simply Bells, that innocent people get found guilty all the time, especially when you're talking about intention, because a lot of this has to do with not only what happened, but how it happened. Like, what was your intention? What was the other person's intention? And how does that person stack up against how you stack up? I also talked to an attorney that said that I asked specifically about social media and about things you say and do on social media as related to 2A. And, you know, some of these posts are a little outrageous, a little bodacious. And the attorney said, to their knowledge, they had not personally seen a trial at a case at their firm where the DA bought in the person's social media to like incriminate their character, to say this, you know, they're a hothead. They're always, you know, they're waiting for a chance to pull this firearm and use it. They said they had not seen it, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. I mean, your social media it's public.
It is.
So
it is.
But innocent people do get found guilty all the time. There was a case with a young guy. He's an MMA fighter, which is why I found it interesting, because I'm a big fight fan. I'm a big martial arts fan. And this kid, or not kid, he's a young man, was from Florida, went to New York to visit relatives this was during the summer, for a block party. And something kicked off at the block party. Didn't originally have anything to do with him. One of his relatives got in a scuffle with somebody, and then they hurt their uncle, I think it was his uncle, pretty badly. They beat him up pretty badly. Then they start coming after him. He was backing away. He had his firearm. He pulled it. He did have to use it. He was charged with murder one. He was at Rikers Island for 3 days. And he had a story to tell. Yeah. And basically his story was, this is hell. Don't ever do it. That was his message overall. Now, he did eventually get the charges reduced, and he ended up with probation. He served no time, but that's what I mean, OG Tank. Like, it started out with a murder one charge. It was a huge charge. He was on Rikers Island for 3 days before they could even get the judge to give him bail so they could post and get him out of there. But he was in another state. He did not have a license. He was in a zone where guns were not allowed. So he had a lot of strikes against him. But he had a concealed carry policy. He had attorneys. They were able to get an attorney on the ground in New York to get to the DA to finally get him out of Rikers Island, and then to get his case reduced before it even got to trial. So even though he was charged with the highest crime, he ended up with probation to keep his nose clean.
Definitely lucky.
Oh my God. And he's maybe in his 30s.
Especially in that state, he was definitely lucky.
Yeah. So that's what I mean about taking a plea. He took a plea. He could have said, no, I'm innocent. I'm going to trial, because there was video of these people chasing him. And they still charged him. Yep. So our 2A rights are really important. More important is your integrity when you're carrying a firearm. and how careful you are, how but you pay attention to the laws in your state or your county or your community because it's different. It, from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is a big state. It's that they're different ideologies. People feel different ways about firearms depending on where you live in the state. So knowing your region, big time important.
Yes.
Knowing your policy, big time important. And what I like to do is have people look at their policy and then think about, okay, I was just involved in a fatal incident with my firearm coming from school or work at 6:30 p.m. in a parking lot. What is this going to cover? What do I like? What are the roadblocks that I could encounter here? Because I think that, like, situationally looking at things, that will help you understand what you're buying.
Yeah.
A lot of folks don't. I've been arrested in handcuffs. Oh, okay. Okay, OG Tank. I want to talk to him.
He was at the meetup. I'm sure he'll be at the next one too. You remember Tank being there? He was one of the. Did you go to the range?
Yeah, I didn't go in the morning. Remember, I was in Women's Safe. I mean,
right. But did you go to the second day?
Conference? Yeah. Yep.
He was one of the range officers out there. It was.
See, if I see his face, I probably know. But I have to tell you, sir, I don't want to be in handcuffs ever. I'm not built for that. I'm not cut out for that.
Look, same.
I don't want it. I don't want, like, one time is too many. It's not that I'm fearful. I don't want look. I live a soft life, y'all.
I think send me that pic.
Hasn't always
got a pic with all three of us. Send me that pic. Have I seen
2A in LA is, oh my God, he's so bad.
I'm so tired of him. I am so, sir, you don't have to come out the bushes. You don't.
Oh my God. Well, there's nothing wrong with that 2A. I
Siege, just don't even.
Oh, don't engage. Okay.
Don't engage. I didn't know the laws were tough for you in Massachusetts, Fifi.
Oh, Massachusetts, Connecticut. Yeah, that whole Northeast corridor, Massachusetts, Connecticut, all the New England states. Yeah, but that is because of that 2012 school shooting.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
I know Simply Bell. I should know better. I don't know why I'm just making it worse by engaging.
Tate says, Siege, I get what you're saying. I do. And that's why I say it that way.
Like, OG Tank sounds like he's willing to die on that hill. Like, no, I'm innocent. I had every right to defend my life. I'm taking nothing less than a not guilty on all charges. That's okay. Because you're already saying, I know what this is, what could happen. I understand. I'm very cognizant of worst case scenario. I could end up in Rikers Island for 25 years. And let me tell you, after listening to that young man talk about 3 days there and the conditions, child, y'all need to put me on a plane to Brazil or something, because I can't do it. Yeah. I can't.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same. I ain't built for it.
No, I'm not. I like my soft life. I work very hard to get there.
So you mess with my babies, that might be another conversation. I might take an L for them.
Oh yeah, that's an easy L.
That's it.
Yeah. There's some.
I would tear the city up for it.
Yeah, I love rarely, but I love hard. So, yeah, don't mess with my children. I will. I will
You
scorch the
shouldn't even
earth.
went back to see what he said. She said, I just got the joke.
Yeah, he just, I don't know. He's so funny.
He's terrible.
But concealed carry insurance, I think, is important. Also, for those of you with these beautiful firearm collections, and probably if you have more than 3 or 4, you need to get coverage for the actual firearm. Not that somebody's going to come in and steal your 10,000 pound safe. But what if you have a safe that's fireproof and waterproof and it's in a good place, it's in your basement or it's in a shed or a garage or something like that, you might be okay. Maybe you don't need it. But other than that, if there's a disaster of any kind and your firearms are damaged, that your homeowner's policy is not going to cover that. It might have a small amount on there, but it's not going to be what I know some of you guys have. So there are companies that cover, like they cover, like the dead animal things, trophies, they call them.
Oh,
they
yeah.
cover those, and they cover firearm collections. So you may want to look into that, especially if you have, a really nice collection. You want to protect it.
Yeah. That's important. Now, 2A in LA, I think that was for you. But it's a lot of other ones in here that probably need it as well. But yeah. And I feel attacked because when you said more than, what did you say, more than 3 or 4?
Well, if you have more than 3 or 4 that aren't in a secure safe.
Oh, okay.
Like if your house catches on fire, your firearms are going to be damaged beyond use, probably, if they're just in a, I've got some small safes that aren't great. They're just really just to keep busy hands out. That's it. They're not going to protect it from fire or flood or freezing or anything like that. But if you have 3 or 4 or more and you've spent some decent money on them, you probably want to protect your collection. Now, some of these guys have collections that are, powerhouses.
Yeah, definitely. And some of you, we don't know what the actual collections look like. I don't know what Tank's collection looks like. I don't know what Jay's collection looks like. Everyone who's part of the community is not a content creator and sharing their collections. There's some ladies in this chat who have collections. So,
protect your stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're right, Bougie. She said you sound like Auntie. There's a content creator. We call her Auntie Ellen. And I didn't hear it until Bougie said it, that you sound like her if you're not looking at the screen. And when I kind of listened, I was like, I can get that. You do. Y'all got the same voice a little bit. I can see that. It's very like soft and soothing. It's just a mellow.
Oh, good. Okay.
It's a mellow. So is there any other questions in the chat, y'all? Because we do have a giveaway tonight, and it's a nice giveaway. But I want to make sure that I don't rush through it. If you have questions, this has been a great live. I love seeing all the questions and conversation in the chat, because that kind of lets me know that the conversation was a good conversation to have.
Jay, sir, I know you have
so
more
sick
than...
of Jay. Now, Jay, you know, maybe look, stop. Y'all be cutting up. Has been amazing. She has. Look, twice, Shanna. I done look.
Thanks, Shanna. That's my Scorpio sister right there.
You won't discriminate against me in this giveaway. No, everybody actually is included in this one, guys. Male, female. This one is not slanted to one side or the other. Everyone can be a part of it. You do have to be a member of the channel. Not a member, a subscriber to the channel. So I do have subscriber only on. So that was the only catch. And everybody that's been chatting in here is subscribed.
Everybody should be subscribed. Yeah, if you're not, you should be.
Absolutely.
Oh, Gina, I have to send you a picture of my Sweet potatoes.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
No, Gina.
I can't wait to see it, Siege. I want to see what happens.
Oh my God.
Who said that? I just missed another comment. Oh, Bougie said she
Skilly,
said this
stop
is
it.
great.
Stop it, Skilly. You do
Skilly,
not carry a. He just came in.
He
I just saw
is
his name for the first time.
a high point. Y'all all cutting up. Jay, Skilly, and OG Tank. They just lie for no reason.
I don't know. OG Tank is kind of gangster.
No, he ain't. No, he ain't. We'll
said that like,
at the meetup.
Don't care.
Simply Bill says Siege shows up and shows out. She said, thanks for all your insight and wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you for the questions. You had great questions. I love that.
Yes. And a great live. I thought the other one was great too with the self-defense. We got into a lot of conversation there too. So if you didn't see that one, check out that live. It was a great live. It gives you, we talked about self-defense beyond just firearms. So it was a really good conversation, guys.
Yeah, I prefer self-defense other than my firearm. That it really is my last resort.
Mm-hmm. Mr. BS talking about finally they not being discriminated against. It wasn't me who did it, Mr. BS. You talk about the people who donated the firearms.
Hey, Letho. Letho just came in here.
Hey, Letho. What's up? BP said, great topic, lots of great information, things to think about. Absolutely. I will be watching a live over with my hubby. I love that, Fifi. I do. Fifi is goals for me. I'm not even being funny. This lady and her husband, I love everything they're doing over there. She's part of the garden community. She's also 2A, but Fifi also, they fish. So they fill their pantry and their freezer with either food that they raise themselves or catch. They raise their own meat birds. They raise their own turkeys and harvest them. And then they also have egg laying chickens. And then they fish and they just stock up.
And I can't even grow a sweet potato, and she
grows her vegetables and her fruits. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
And she shared so much of that this season. So if y'all do not watch Fifi, I'm telling y'all missing out.
Okay, I'm gonna have to jump on that.
Yeah, she shared how they process their chickens, how they vacuum seal it to put it to freeze them. She shared processing the turkeys, and I'm sure it's the same process for vacuum sealing them. She shared a lot of their fishing trips. They even bug out. So they go and camp out and actually camp outdoors. I love it. I love it. And I mean, this is who she really is, because I found out about Fifi being part of the 2A community years ago. She shares a little bit more of it now. But back then I caught like snippets where she would post something and I'm like, okay, I see you.
Hey, Mira. Mira came in here.
Hey, Mira. I ain't seen Mira in a minute.
I know. Where you guys been?
You don't come hang out over here no more. Where my girl
Look at what that's, Gina. Look at what That's My Art said. She said, thank you. I want to get a firearm, but I don't think I can handle it mentally if I had to shoot. Okay. This is what I hear from a lot of women, and I'm not picking on women, but I do hear this from a lot of women.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this. That firearm is like any other tool where you get training, practice, you're practical, you're logical, you're level-headed, you're not a hothead, you're thinking before you do something, before you speak. You're cautious of where you go and when you go and what you're doing there. And you have to think if it's between me and that person that's coming towards me to take my life or to physically harm me, who should win the fight? Who should win the battle?
Mm-hmm.
I am never going to pick somebody else's safety or sanity over mine. I'm not going to do it. And it doesn't have anything to do with religion. So don't tell me
Mm-hmm.
about religion, because that's not it. This is about
Yeah.
survival.
Yes.
This is
And
it's pure survival. Are you
it
going to
is.
let, and it's a fear, I get it. It's a real fear.
Absolutely.
But you can work on
Mhm.
it. You can take a women's only class. You can take a martial arts class, which I think helps a lot of women deal with other things that they may
Mhm.
not find as comforting. You can take
Mhm.
as many firearm classes as you need. You can take one-on-one instruction if you need it, if you
Yep.
can afford it. There are places that offer free firearm instructions, especially in the summer at outdoor ranges. There are
Mhm.
organizations across the
Yes.
country,
I
not
was just about to
everywhere,
say that.
but for women that
Yes.
cater to teaching women, and they have women that are beginners to
Mhm.
professional shooters. So everything
Mhm.
in between. Um, Even at a regular meetup, we have a bunch of firearm companies. They're always willing to help people. We have a
Mhm.
women's conference where we talk about all kinds of things, not just
Yep.
firearms. I'm a
Yep.
big martial arts nut, so I'm always talking about women's self-defense and learning how to
Mhm.
fight, and understanding situational awareness and safety
Mhm.
measures, and how to keep we talked last time about keeping your home safe, being
Yes.
safe when you're traveling, when you're on vacation, when you're going to work, when you're at the airport, gas station, whatever it is. So that's my
Mhm.
art. Shift Think of shifting your thought process to be focused on your well-being, not the
Yes.
detriment to somebody else. Because
Yes.
ultimately, and we've said this 1,000 times, the goal is to get home at the end of the day the same way you left home,
Yes. And I did it.
physically.
I did it afraid. I was nervous. I shared that with Siege when we talked a while back. I was nervous when I first, took that first step into learning how to use a firearm. It went away literally that same day that I showed up for instruction. I was comfortable. I felt totally comfortable the whole time. But I think that Siege gave some very good tips on what to do. Take as many classes as you need to feel comfortable. Also, if you just don't feel comfortable with a person, find you another person.
Right.
Sometimes that does matter. Everybody won't make you feel as comfortable. Some people aren't as good working with people as they think they are. Um, or just go to an event. I know you were trying to come to Arm 5. Arm 6 is going to be in, I think I saw Shannon drop the information for that. It's going to be in Florida. And there is a lot of instructors there. And like C said, there's a women's conference. The women's conference it's a mix of different women. Some women are women who are carriers who carry firearms personally, or just have one that they have trained with that they keep in their home. And some women don't deal with them at all.
Some are not, and we talk about everything.
Yes,
And I'm
yes.
there at the women's conference. So
Hmm.
I'd be
I
glad to
suck.
talk to you, and we can find other things you can do leading up to that. For a lot of people, it's not it's not a quick entry point for them. A firearm is not the fastest way. They don't get to
Hmm.
it right away. It takes
Hmm.
some stair steps, some work to get there. But I think being around like-minded people that are
Hmm.
safe, safety is always first,
Yeah.
that are educated, that are willing to learn about their firearm, that are training with their firearm, and that their intention is always coming from the right place. That they're either sports related, competition related, or it's for
Hmm.
self-defense, but their
Yes.
motivation is always positive.
Yes.
So, we don't have nonsense that we don't play with. We don't do it. There's none of that nonsense. It's safety first. It is sports. It's competition. It's self-defense.
Yep.
But that's my art. I
Mhm.
would love to see you just go take a
Absolutely.
class. You don't have to buy a
Yeah.
firearm.
No. No.
Take a class
Yeah.
first.
I agree. I'm a very hyper in my opinion, hyper vigilant person where I'm just always aware of everything when I move around. I ain't gonna say everything, but I'm aware of
You're
a lot.
watching. Yeah.
And arm is the one thing that I go to that I just be like, I'm just a girl.
Yeah.
That's probably my
Exactly.
just a girl time of the year. When I'm at arm, I am not on alert. I still watch, but I probably miss a lot more there. I am hanging out, I'm talking to everybody, just having a good time. I am so not in fight or flight mode. I'm not in that mode of, because I feel safe with the people who are around, that I know that these people, like, they gonna make sure things don't happen.
They're
And I
watching.
feel safe
They're
in
making
knowing that.
sure everybody is safe, and they're making sure the
Yes.
environment is controlled. They're watching
Yep.
the perimeter. Like, things are
Yep.
going on there all the time, but
Yep.
I that can be a real kind of
Yep.
hurdle to jump over. That's my art, but
Mhm.
it is something that you can conquer, and I want that for you. Because
Mhm.
for women, um, no matter how strong you are or how competent you are, your biggest your biggest enemy is always going to be a man that's going to be stronger than you. And that firearm is the great equalizer because it
Mhm.
can stop him when nothing else can. And there are some women in the 2A community that have had personal domestic violence experiences that have led them to become not only firearm owners, but even instructors, because they
Yes.
understand that that could have saved them from some devastating situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't give up on it
No.
because you know you think mentally you couldn't handle it if you had to shoot somebody. Nobody is prepared to handle that mentally, quite frankly.
No.
Like, that's not something anybody is most people would
Yes.
not
I
say,
agree.
I'm fully prepared to deal with the mental fallout from that. No, most people are not. Most people would need counseling.
Yep.
And even if they didn't think they needed it, if I had contact with that person, I would encourage them to seek out counseling. So
Mhm.
I don't think any of us are mentally prepared to do that. But for me, I am mentally prepared to protect my own life, to save
Mhm.
me if
Mhm.
it comes down to that. And that's what I mean about shifting your perspective on how you look at it.
Mhm.
So just think about it.
Yep. And if you do one of your the ladies range day, you don't even have to shoot. You could just be there and kind of observe and talk to the ladies and just be in the space. There's always range officers there, and there's usually
Yep.
somebody in the mix that's also an instructor. So you don't even have to touch a firearm that day. You could kind of
No.
just see how things go. You know, nobody. I haven't been in a situation where anyone's forced me to take that first leap of shooting a firearm. It was like, when you're comfortable, you let me know, and then we can proceed ahead. And that's how it was for me. I would that's what I would expect for anyone. I'm sure that's probably not what it is for everyone, but I would hope that it be something like that. But you don't have to even touch one at that time. You could just kind of go and observe and talk to other people who are there. There will be other people that are there for the first time. You won't be the only first timer probably in the
Yeah.
room.
And there'll be other people there that don't want to shoot ever.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I talked to at least 2 or 3 women last year that did not want to shoot. I think out of the 3 I talked to, only one ended up shooting finally. And she came back and she was giddy
Mm-hmm.
because it was nothing like she expected.
That's what it was for me. It was
Yeah.
nothing like what I expected.
Like,
I
she
was
was
like,
psyched afterwards, and which made me hype because she
yeah,
was so hype about the
yeah,
experience. It was cool. It was really cool. So
yeah.
don't give up.
And I think that's what people find with ARM. When they come to the regular meetup for the first time, it's nothing that you expect it to be. Are we shooting all day, every day while we're there? We probably shoot what, 4 hours the whole time, the whole weekend we're together. Like
Well,
it's
you
not
know what I'm
even that
doing.
much.
I'm
It's
talking. That's why they call me Siege. I am running my yap the whole every
like, and that's
day, all
true because
day.
most of the women do not, and even some of the guys, like they go to the range enough. They're like, oh, I'm just here to have a good time. Some people just don't even touch a firearm while we're together. But we're not. We literally have, well, one official range day had been, and I think that was like a 4 hour window. And you don't have to. You're free to move as you want. Like you could stay out there an
Yeah.
hour. You could stay out there for 2 hours. You could stay out there 10 minutes. Whatever. You're an adult. Like nobody
Yeah.
forces you to be there. So, the first day I went, I stayed maybe 2 or 3 hours. I was supposed to be at the women's conference, but I wanted to go to the range.
Yeah, she ditched me. I didn't forget.
But the second day, I don't even know if I was there an hour. I was just like, yeah, you know.
Yeah, that's true, OG Tank. I think firing when you get a good grasp of a firearm and you get to a range, whether it's indoor or outdoor, and you have a good instructor and you feel comfortable in what you're doing, when you fire that and realize that you are in control of it, it's not in control of you. There is a little adrenaline rush. It's
It
like
is.
your first martial arts fight, like your
It
first
is.
full on sparring session, and you walk away and you're like, I want to do that again.
Tank, I didn't bring none. That's your face. Talk about I was out there not letting people shoot my guns. I didn't take any. But yeah, I agree with Cece. I think that there's like an adrenaline rush for a moment. And even when you're shooting a different caliber, like something you've never shot before. That's one of the great things to me about ARM is that I'm always shooting a lot of people's firearms, and it's stuff that I don't have access to because I don't own it. I mean, I might have access to some of those things if I rented it from the range, but you know, you get to experience firearms. You get to try out different things and see if that's something you may want to have in your collection or not. I tell you now, don't be shooting none of 2A LA Brings or Team Blacksmith because they will get you.
Shoot all their stuff because that's the only time y'all can't afford
that's
that
facts.
stuff.
That's what I do. But I will say they will get you
shoot
in
it all.
All right,
shoot all their stuff.
That's true though, because they're gonna bring some really nice stuff, y'all. And they're not the only ones, but they definitely bring a lot of the high.
Yeah, there's some folks out there with some beautiful collections.
Absolutely. And a lot of them in this chat, because I've shot a lot of people's stuff that's in this chat. Yeah, let me, I was gonna say, why can't I find it? There we go. All right. So there is the hashtag we are giving away, and this has been this is a firearm that Jay, the budget gun guy, is I will say donating to the channel to be given away here. So that is the hashtag for it. Also, you need to know if you can even receive an AR in your state. Need to know the laws behind that because some states don't allow for them. There is an alternative if you are in a state that does not allow for it. And we will go from there when we get to the point of oh, Black King, you've been in the bushes and you didn't come in and say hi because I didn't see your name go through my don't come over here trying to win nothing. I'm blocking you. Don't call me no snob. Who called me a snob?
Somebody did.
Y'all need to quit spreading these rumors about me. If you can't have it in your state, I will too. And Siege, I'm serious. If you want to get in on the hashtag, you absolutely can.
Oh, why won't it let me type anything?
You can do you have your phone near you? You probably have to log in from your phone. I
gotta go on my phone.
Yeah. Hey, Cece. Hey, Mecca. I mean, Miko. That Mecca. Hey, David. Hey, Tigsy. Y'all been in them bushes. I see y'all. I saw Led come through. Thank you, Led. That's another one y'all need to be following. Listen, he putting his greenhouse together and getting his heating situation set up. Y'all with the greenhouses, trying to figure out how we gonna keep them warm. Hey, Country Hustle, but winter.
Who's
I
that?
was
Who,
like,
Gina? Who's doing a greenhouse?
Led Farmer 73.
Oh,
He
yeah, I
has,
follow him.
yes, he just did a video recently showing how they're going to keep their, because they have a lot of tropicals, and he's in a warmer climate than me. But he's showed how he's going to keep them warm, what he's doing to keep them warm during the winter. And I was like, that was right on time for me, because my situation of what I have set up, I don't know if it's going to be sustainable to keep my plants as warm as I need to. And he said he's going to be doing some more in-depth content around that. So if you are looking at how you can keep those plants nice and cozy, because I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, I would say Led is zone 8. I don't know if it's Air B, but I'm thinking he's 8 and I'm 6. So that's, look, I need all the help I can get. All the help I could get. Because that greenhouse, now my garage probably could keep things warmer than my greenhouse, which is crazy. And my garage is not heated. Because I know Fifi does hers in her garage. She overwinters some stuff.
Oh, okay.
And this year I'm trying to overwinter some stuff. So those tropicals are great in the greenhouse. Yes, but I got to keep them warm. I got to keep them toasty. They in there right now, though. I got a heater and I got some lights in there, but I'm like, his setup was more cost efficient, I think, in my opinion. So, yeah, I need to look into that.
Skilly, happy birthday, bro.
Happy
His birthday is
birthday,
Sunday.
Skilly. Look at you, old man. Happy birthday.
I saw Jason somewhere. Jason, I think I saw you in here. Hey, Jason.
He is
thought
in
I
here.
did.
He's in here. I saw him earlier. Usually, if Shannon's in here, I usually see one or the other come in behind each other. But I did see Jason. I'm gonna give y'all a couple more minutes to get the hashtag in there. Did you get it in, Siege?
Yeah, I got it in.
All right. Hey Maurice Evans, how are you? So y'all,
Hey,
I'm
Maurice.
about 5 minutes from a regular gun guy going live. He goes live on Friday nights. I don't know for sure if he's going. There goes Jason tonight, but typically he goes live on a Friday night at 9 o'clock or 9:05. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's going. It looks like he's going live at 9:05.
9:05. Okay, so we're about 10 minutes away from there. So if y'all want to check him out, I don't know what the topic is and what they're talking about over there tonight. Usually Friday is kind of like just whatever. They have all kind of random topics on a Friday.
Yeah.
But you can definitely head over there and check him out. And I'm about to call. Don't y'all start that Master Gardener stuff. I'm about to hit that button, y'all.
Just let 2A stay where he's quiet for now. Leave him alone.
That part. Y'all know it don't stay like that. Oh, we got a lot of entries, y'all. Oh, and I didn't enter, Jay. Although I want to, but I ain't. I'm going to keep it fair. All right. We hitting the button. Ooh, who is it going to be? Ugh, I can't even look. Oh, my God. TT. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Y'all, TT cracks me up because I remember when she first came into the 2A space and she said, Gina, I'm not going to be like you. I'm getting one firearm just for protection and blah, blah, blah. And she fell down the rabbit hole. Like everybody.
Yeah. it's hard to just get one and stop. It's hard to
It
just, I'm only
is.
gonna own one.
I laughed at her so bad. I said, "What was
Poor
that she said
Shanna.
about me?"
Shanna can't win a fire to
Shanna,
save
that's
her
how I
life.
feel. That's how I
Gina,
feel.
stop
How
it.
many people
You've
dropped
won.
a tear? That's true. I always say that, but I have won 3.
I have 2. I've won 3 or 4.
You done
Actually
beat me
lost
a
count.
couple times.
That's what I'm here for, to beat you.
You threatened me
I
in the
almost
chat.
didn't do your live. You're lucky you didn't win my cousin's gun, because if you would have won on his channel, I would not be on your live tonight. That's how much, that's how petty I am.
Oh my gosh. I wanted to win that so bad. That was so pretty. It was such a nice looking firearm.
Yeah, Team Blacksmith
Congratulations,
is
TT.
Team Blacksmith is dope.
You said we stay winning. I don't know. And even when I don't win, I win. Cause yeah.
Yep. Jay, at my last one I
won
won just three weeks, maybe a month ago, was from Jay.
Siege Talks, you have one of my guns. Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the last one I won, was from Jay.
Oh, yeah. I don't have one though. I don't have one, Jay. What did he say, Gina?
Jay, what state are you in? Now I'm going to try to get all in this business because I have to know things.
Pick either one. What do you mean pick either one? Look, you can need to do it. No, I don't need it. I don't, Jay. I don't need that. I'm just writing. I just think I'm supposed to win all the things. Although when I don't win, I'm never bitter. I really am excited for the person who does. I'm just gonna keep bringing it up.
It's really fun. It's really nice that, and it's extremely generous that you have people like Jay, the budget gun guy, that's willing to put up firearms. You know, the last one, when we did the self-defense talk with Gina, he did one for the ladies, so that somebody that maybe didn't have one had a chance to win a firearm and get their journey in self-protection started. And that's what we want to do. If we can educate and help and extend information and knowledge and resources to people, that's what we want to do, because that's what gets us armed legally, safely, with the right amount of information and knowledge. And it's your right as an American citizen. So let's exercise all of our rights.
Yes. The TT comment in my chat, I'm almost sure she gonna say AR though, Jay. But TT, you do get to choose between an AR or a revolver. If you're still in the chat. That's how this all started though, guys. What Siege was saying from our self-defense live. If you go back and watch that, and the person who won was not a firearms owner. She had never had any training or anything with a firearm. Her son actually had just finished getting his certificate in some type of martial arts. I forget. She told me what it was.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that whole live was on time for her. And
That's
then she
awesome.
won the firearm. So she was going, and he also has his CCW. So she said she was going to get him to take her to the range to take some classes, so that she can start with some classes and kind of get into some training for her firearm.
That's perfect.
I see Tia, and then I see Sunshine say AR 20,000 times. But did Tia say the same thing? And if she did, then I don't know. Tia, did you say?
I didn't see her say it yet.
Oh, Jay is in Texas. Did you see that?
Oh, that's
I didn't know he
is.
was in Texas. I did not know that, Jay. Good night, she said. No, all she said was
good night.
Tia Marie. AR or revolver? Actually, I don't have to wait for her to say on here, Jay, because I do talk to Tia outside of YouTube. So I could just hit her up. Y'all all in Texas? I mean, everybody ain't there, OG Tank. Jeez. Hey, Rob. I'm waiting for them to raffle out. Really? Okay. Well, y'all, this really was a great live. Thank you, Jay, for wanting to even give away a firearm. This is 2 for him. Like,
Right.
I appreciate you so much for doing that. I thought that was so dope. When he did that on that live, and then Ray Official turned around and did a giveaway of 2 firearms. I'm like, y'all showed up and showed out on my channel, and I love it. I love it. I appreciate y'all so much for it. I truly do. Thank you, Shannon. She said, great live. So that,
thank you guys. Thanks for the questions.
Show. 5 this year, Jay.
Yeah,
you trying to clear out? Sheesh. Gina, you doing too much talking. What?
Hey, BTG.
STD, don't keep coming for me. I thought we was friends again. Have a good night. You have a great one too, Fifi. He stopped talking to me after Monday's live where we was doing the heat check. Did you watch that, Siege? Were you there?
I did. I was doing something, but I was like kind of listening in. They should have known. I mean, when I saw who was on that, I thought,
They said we was rough. I was like, I thought I was kind of nice. And I really think Shanna was nice. I think Erica, if you were in the background listening, Erica, you was the one.
She's brutal. Erica, she was. That girl's brutal.
Ooh, next one will be for the last one will be for the Xmas giveaway. I'm gonna have to a Florida. Oh, you Tixie, definitely. Y'all, I'm serious. If y'all want to do a meetup, our meetup is so dope. And guess who's gonna be there? Siege. And guess who else? Me.
Yep.
Yeah. So
we'll be there.
I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. It's really chill. She said AR. She hit me up in text, y'all. It's really chill. It's such a good time. We really just honestly, it feels like we just really just love on each other for 3-4 days.
It's fun. It's a good time. We get to do a lot of stuff. The women's conference, ladies, you got to come to the women's conference. It's fun. It's a good time.
It is, y'all. I promise you. You will see. I have taken two of my friends so far. I took one to Arm 4, one to Arm 5. Both of them have wanted to go back. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. Y'all can head over to A Regular Gun Guy because he just started his live. If y'all want to check him out, I don't know who else is live tonight, but I will see y'all in these YouTube streets. Thank y'all for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
And I'm glad everybody enjoyed the conversation. So y'all have a good night. Bye, everybody. I see y'all Sunday. Oh, and tomorrow morning, y'all know 2A in LA will be premiering at like 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock
Eastern
Pacific.
time.
Yep. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. So peace.